Hello everybody, how you doing? Ooh, what a lovely big yawn I've got. Oh god, nearly put my back out, Jesus. Right, anyway. Here's our gun barrel, still coming along. I haven't done anything obviously since I saved last time. What I'm going to do now is tilt the entire thing, the entire assembly on its side, because that's how it should be. 90 degrees this way. There we go. Okay, now, with our barrel created, which was obviously, not especially difficult, we can now move on to some of the other bits on this. So let's have a look at the website and see what it's got to show us. Lots of lovely things, but this is the important part down here. Okay, so if we go and look in their photo gallery, we'll find lots of pictures of their actual minigun and how it's put together. So we'll look in here in the minigun part ID area. They have flash suppressors for miniguns. Doesn't that seem like the maddest thing ever? There we go. This will show us more of the actual way the minigun's kind of put together. Minigun right side's probably ideal as well. There. Okay, so you can see how these kind of come together. Basically, it's a giant barrel with a feed, which I assume is this bit, and these parts over here, and this stick thing that comes out the back. I know that's not the world's greatest description, but that's in summary what it is. Over here you can see these are the actual parts broken down. Now we don't need to build the inside. I mean, we've just built this part anyway, so that's okay. I'm probably going to have to build this middle thing that comes down in a minute. There's the actual barrels here as they fit in. But the part that interests us most is obviously the part at the back, which loads in the stuff and these things here. So what I'm going to do is move this over here, and I'm going to close this window down now because I don't really need it. Okay, and I can start building ideally from this part over here. Now before I do, if we remember, there is in fact a big piece that goes down the middle of this, so what I'm going to do is create a new cylinder just here. Now if I just create it normally, it appears there. So what I'm going to do is go into auto grid mode and just build it here instead. Now if I build it that way, you'll notice it's coming out, which isn't really any use to us. So I'll build it inside instead. And then I can build it coming straight down here. And I think it comes all the way down at the bottom, so let's change the height on this until it intersects down here. There we are. Now, what I'm going to do later on perhaps is take some time to make it look like, this thing's fitting properly and has not weld lines, but they're actual mold lines, because I believe it would be forged from, a single lump of metal. First things first, though, I'm going to align this to the middle of here. So, align, click here, and click OK. Okay, and now this is all lined up properly. Now, down this end, I'm going to start by building the first part of this barrel. Now, bear in mind that I'm not actually building a fully accurate representation of this minigun. I'm building an as accurate interpretation of this minigun. One that people will look at and go, ooh, that's a minigun. That's all. Okay, so we're going to go straight into the bevel tool. Bring this out a bit. Like this. Because I'm building a lip. And if you want to see what I'm doing, I'll turn it around this way. There, you see that lip. Now I'm going to give it a 0 length and bring it straight out. Down. In like this. Flared again. Bring it out. This is your chance to doodle. Okay, this is good old-fashioned polygon doodling. And really it's kind of an essential skill, in my opinion, for a 3D artist. Some people would say it isn't. Some people would say it's just doodling. But that's what art is sometimes. And that's how you come up with some of these great shapes. Okay, so this is kind of the internal housing here. And let's bring this up. You'll kind of see what I'm doing in a minute. I'm just messing with forms and shapes. Really trying to come up with something that's working for me. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that's not bad, a bit too sharp there. Okay, up to there. And if anything kind of has too sharp an angle later, what I can do is just chamfer it back anyway. So, like I say, I'm not concerned about the amount of polygons I'm using in the slightest. When it comes down to it, if you actually want to use something like this in a game, it's very easy to optimize this sort of thing anyway. Okay, now I'm going to build another little barrel lip here. This gives us what we call maker's marks and maker's lines. Okay, now I'm going to bring this down and in. And that'll give us room to start putting other parts on it. This lip here comes down into there like that. And out a bit. Pull that across like so. Just checking the size, making sure our barrel's round about the right width. There's no specific rules for how you're doing this, okay? You're making a model that you want to make here. If you ever watched Bob Ross, that's what it was all about, you know? It was about this being your world, as he always used to say. And it is. It's you in charge. Just going to scale this down. There we go. And what that means is that you can create anything you want to, any way you want to, as long as the result you get is what you're after. Okay. Now the reason I create these, obviously, is just so that lighting kind of picks up in between these and makes it look better. I'm going to pull this out a bit more. I'll just bevel the end again. Okay, and that creates that shape there that goes on the end of this, like so. Now, we have some flat parts. Now, I may as well, start building in the flat parts as they come along. So, what I'm going to do is start here with this one. And this will become our flat part. Now, you'll notice we've got this kind of space here underneath. So, we're going to have to work around this. So, what I'm going to do is find the area where I'm going to have my flat part, which will be about here, and just delete. In here I can now delete these bits, like so. Alright, and this part here. Now I'm just checking out these areas here, making sure that I'll be able to bridge in soon. I should be able to. So what I'm going to do is just grab here and just drag it along like that. See? Dead easy. Now down here, you see, if you want to drag this along here, then what we could do is just change the reference coordinate system to local. And now you can see we can try and drag it out on this, but it doesn't always seem to work. It works out what its local is, and you see, makes it a bit tricky. If you want to get an accurate way of dragging this out along here, just go into view mode again, like so. And what you can do is just grab here and here, and you could extrude just a little bit, because this is supposed to be non-flush anyway. So what I'm going to do is just, before I do, and hopefully you're going to learn about some of the fun tools we use in Max and why we use them as well. If I select here and here and do a connect, and I'm just going to pull it open using the caddy here, you'll see it pop up in a few minutes. We've got one edge connected, and what I can do is just slide it to one side like that. Click the tick button. The reason I've done that is now if I select this and this, and just click extrude, and extrude these out, I'm just extruding them to that height there, but now if I grab here and here, and here and here, pull back a bit and do the same again, just extrude them out until they're kind of level with that. Okay, just kind of see where I'm going here. Now we need a way of connecting these things together. Now underneath here we've got some polygons, so let's get rid of those. Because we don't want these polygons, they're going to make things that we're doing awkward. There we go. Now what we can do is start kind of welding parts together, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. If we go here to our vertex mode, which allows us to control these individual points, we've got a target weld. I'm going to click here, a little dotted line appears, drag it to there, and now we've closed that gap. We can do the same over here, like so, which is pretty funky. Do the same here. Now remember, it's all about being logical when it comes to 3D. You've got to think to yourself, why am I doing it this way, yeah? Apart from obviously to make a kick-ass model that looks awesome. We really want this part here to be flat, because we're going to add some screws and things into it and stuff like that, maybe later if we get time. Now we can't target weld this to this, because see this gap thing here isn't going to work. So what we can do instead is select edges, maybe select this one and this one, and click bridge. And because of that little space there, the bridge works. Do it again here. Bridge. See? Dead easy. Now what we could do as well is select here and here, and we could just do a connect. Now it's going to pick up the last sentence we had, so let's change this to 0. Click tick, and now I'll select here is in the middle. And if I go into my polygon mode, you're going to have to bear with me because my mouse is being a teeny weeny bit festive. Click there and click there. And I'm going to open interactive bridging mode. Make sure nothing's selected, and then click bridge. We can just come across and start doing this, which is cool, and creates us that shape there. Okay, and we're going to have to kind of come up with a shape similar on the top, although the top's going to be slightly easier because it's a bit more rounded than this one. So what I'm going to do here is select these parts. Just come out of here. There we go, select these parts. Like that. And I'm going to extrude them out. Now, normally if you extrude them out, they just come out in a set direction like this, which isn't really that good. So what we're going to do is click on the settings button, and instead we're going to extrude by, if you click here, local normal, and that will kind of blow them out a little bit like so. Still going to need to tweak them a little bit, but you know, nothing too major. Let's just bring down the height a little bit. Okay, that seems fine, and click OK. Right, now, not so fond of these parts here, because to be honest, they look like ass. So what I'm going to do is delete these parts. Don't, under any circumstances, look at your model and think you shouldn't go back and change things, okay? We change things when we're making tutorials, we change things when we're making production models. The process is always going to be the same. Right, what I need to do is straighten up these edges here. The ones at the front are okay, but these ones at the back here, bloody awful. So, easy way of doing that will be select all our edges. So I'm just going along and clicking them while I've got control selected, because they're a pretty wonky set of hombres. Now I'm going to use my scale tool and just scale on one axis, in this case the y-axis. And what you'll notice here is it scales them all nice and flat and moves them along like so. Now we've got a little bit of lip over here, so what I'm going to do is just bring that back until it's straight again. symmetrical, so it'll do it on both sides. And now our model is ready to be worked on. Okay, now back into interactive bridging tool again. From here to here, and here to here. Right click and out. Alright, I'm not going to fill in these gaps yet. Why? Well, because I want these polygons here so I can extrude. So if I just extrude out, like so, there we are. And what I can do now is kind of close these gaps a little bit. To do that, I'm going to need to get rid of these bottom polygons. There and there. And we're going to use bridge yet again. Before we do, let's move these a little bit more across. Remember, we're working by eye here, which is not a bad thing. Now what I'm going to do this time is to select here and bridge. If it doesn't bridge, that means you have a polygon somewhere that needs removing. Do the same again here. And with that done, it becomes very easy just to select these parts. I'm just holding down Control while I do it. And click Cap. Okay, and that gives us this more complex shape here. Isn't it marvellous how this sort of thing comes together? It certainly is. And I'm just looking over my model now. Might need to reposition this barrel just a teeny weeny bit. Possibly 2.5 degrees, I don't know. Actually, no, I'll leave it the way it is. I quite like that. Okay, and what we can do is we can kind of replicate this on the other side as well, because obviously it's going to need some parts over here. So I'm just, again, going to do this bit over here. I might make this part a little bit larger, because there's no reason why this is actually going to be completely symmetrical. This is designed for fitting and mounting onto things, rather than being held in your hand in a kind of completely symmetrical gun kind of way. So let's take these out. And get rid of the frames here. Anyone who's actually watched my District 9 weapon tutorial will see some similarities in the methodology I'm using now compared to the methodology I used 7 years ago when I first did the minigun. Obviously our styles all adapt constantly. It's, you know, what makes us who we are, I suppose. And the method I use now is faster compared to the old method. Plus it has the added bonus, instantly I'm going to slide this across manually, of having more detail than the old method, which was basically just primitives, although it does show you how to do stuff. So if you prefer the old method, that's up to you. I will not be making the old minigun available anymore though, as a tutorial set. It's really outlived its usefulness. Okay, and again, extrude these. Just trying to make sure that we've got this coming in the right part. I actually got that more or less spot on for what I need, surprisingly. And again, more or less spot on for what I need, so happy times. Okay, let's go inside it. You can go inside your model, by the way, if you need to pick things out. There we are. Now you may notice, obviously, there's more polygons than there are parts here. It's not really an issue. All we have to do here is just select this polygon here, and we can just ring it, and then do a connect. And we can do the same here, just a quick ring, and a connect. I've got my toolbox set up differently to how I normally do it, because I've got here obviously my little fast buttons. I normally don't have those on, but I've started using them recently. Okay, now we're going to go into the interactive bridging tool. I love how I always give it the full name, interactive bridging tool. Okay, and start bridging, obviously. There we are. Incidentally, I do hope that you guys are enjoying the new kind of 3D Palace outlook on building tutorials. It's really been too long since we've made lots and lots of fun things. So it's actually a lot of fun going back to the free tutorial methods. Now then, there's a hole inside here, and I can't see it properly, so I've got inside my model. There we go. There'll be another one over this side. Now then, I've turned off the interacting bridging tool, put it back on again. See that? There's a gap. That's not good. Don't like gaps. Gonna have to be careful there. I'll probably just cap it in, but if I do, it'll create a nasty little bent polygon situation going on, which won't make me a happy camper. Another option is if I just loop here and then do a small chamfer, like that. Now then, a little bit of, remember what I said, sometimes you have to go back and delete things. Just the way it goes. It's better to go back and delete things than have glaring problems, and it's better that we show you why we do things. Now you can see here, on this side, there's some interesting funky things going on here. It's just the way the shape's going. Another thing I can do here is just target weld this to here. There we are. And I think I may have accidentally deleted one piece too many. There we go. We'll get it back. Let's click bridge. You see, the good thing is that obviously having four-sided polys is going to make our model less balked when it comes down to it. Okay, so that's four sides on there. And just go down and kind of look at the edges here, see what's happened to them. Because this one isn't particularly a great edge if we look. So what I'm going to do is press G to get rid of my grid. I'm going to manually adjust this one. So just go into vert select, grab my verts here. I'm going to manually pull them out until it's straight. Just there. And here. Obviously try not to break the form of my piece as I do it. There we go. And have a look now. That's much better. Still got a few minor things going on here that might need to be changed. However, let's have a look. What I'm thinking is that this part and this part probably could do with being moved together. Let's have a look at the edge. Ring. Now if I ring all through the edge, that's not going to be any use. There's a hole there that I need to fix as well. I'll just cap that. And there's one. Alright, background. I'm going to remove this polygon here and this polygon here. Then I'm going to take this polygon and just connect it like so. And then go into here and do a target weld. And this should repair this part. Yeah, it does. And now I can just bridge out on here. Now along here, Yeah, this is going to be a much better idea. I'm going to straight down here. And just through here and here. And that'll allow me to take this piece, match it up to there. And obviously on here I can just do a straight cut. And cut allows me to just click from here to here and create my edge. And now if I go inside my model, I think I'll do a cut from here over to here. And what I'm going to do for that is just deselect cut, get rid of this polygon here, there to there, do a quick bridge, and then cap out this part. And what I could do is just run my polygon straight down there if I felt like it as well. Okay, so that's built a much more angular shape here, and in the next part we're going to continue on our barrel.